Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your July 4th weekend. And as we start to get back into our work week, this is the teaser video for this coming Sunday, which is July 10th. And as we get ready for the teaser video, the passage is James chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. James chapter 4, verses 13 through 17. And I found it interesting. It's not a shocker. Most of you guys know I plan ahead and I like to, lay out my schedule so I'm organized. So I'm flexible if something happens because I have a lot of things done in advance. But as I read this passage, I said, wow, based on the way I kind of live my life and do my work, this passage kind of almost calls me arrogant. And so that was interesting. I was like, every time a lot of sermons I preach, it's because the lessons I've learned reading scripture. And you look at this passage and it almost calls you arrogant. But then there's also passages in scripture talking about being prepared, being good stewards, the preparation for our lives and stuff. So you could almost say, are they a contradiction when this passage in James is talking about, why are you planning ahead? Because we don't know. And that's the big part of this passage is we don't know. We like to think we know. We like to think we are in some type of control, but actually we're not. And the title of my sermon is Arrogance because that's kind of what is being said in this passage. But it also talks about my theme is just a mist. And I don't know how you are with your mortality or your life expectancy and that. And I'm pretty comfortable with the idea of mortality and, dying. I know I'm going to die. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't prepare. It doesn't mean I shouldn't be planning ahead. The church functions a lot better when we are able to plan ahead. I'm able to give the musicians and the people who work on the sermons or newsletter their information ahead of time because I never want to be the bottleneck. I know people who do things at the very last minute all the time. I know pastors who work on their sermons Saturday night into Sunday morning as they get ready to preach that Sunday. And I think that's too stressful for me. But we all have our own ways of getting things accomplished or ways of planning. But as you look at James 4, 13 through 17, examine your own life. Is there things in there that's challenging you? What is the true message? If we know in other parts of Scripture we are supposed to be good stewards, and by good stewards you prepare and plan ahead, and does this passage contradict that in any way, or is it what is this passage truly saying? So there's a lot of little things to think about here. James is an eye opener, and he's pretty clear. Passage also talks about boasting and some other things, but when we realize in the sense of eternity, our lives are just a speck. We are just a mirror. We are a mist. But yet we boast and make plans and say things like we have some ultimate power or control over things. And the more we realize that we don't, the better off we are when we are examining what we're supposed to be doing and what we're planning. Because if we don't know, are we living lives that honor God now? With the idea, I think I mentioned that a month or two ago, saying if you knew God was going to come back tomorrow or in a year, would you be changing the way you're living? And if you would, then that really has indication of that maybe you're not living the way you should be living. So take some time, read James chapter 4, verses 13 to 17, and see what you get out of it. Then you can come in and see if my sermon went the same place that you were thinking, or maybe you get something totally different from this. That's one of the things about reading Scripture is depending where we are in our life, Scripture speaks to us in different ways. So take the time, read it, and hopefully I get to see you all on Sunday. Take care. Bye.